You're listening to the John and Heidi Show Bonus Hour. If you miss any of the program, you can find the podcast at the bottom of the page at sunnyradio.com.
Give yourself a little credit.
It's more important than ever to have a better credit card. At bettercreditcards.com, we offer a variety of credit card options to fit your needs. Whether you want a card to give you cash back or a credit card to help you build your credit, we probably have it at bettercreditcards.com. That's bettercreditcards.com.
Give yourself a little credit. Go ahead and switch to bettercreditcards.com.
Thank you for listening to the John and Heidi Show Bonus Hour. My beautiful bride Heidi is going to stick around for at least this little break here because we got something to talk about that's kind of sad news. And I'll let you share the sad news, Heidi.
We had to say goodbye to Dan Ferris.
Yeah, our dear friend Dan. A lot of folks who listen to this radio station know that voice, that name. He worked with us since 2018, worked in radio in Sioux Falls, South Dakota for the last 30, almost 40 years. Very familiar voice, very familiar name. And was earlier this year, he stepped away from his radio duties here because he sadly, 2 years ago, was informed that he had cancer.
Lung cancer, yeah.
He fought it like a boss. He got to ring the bell after chemo and radiation. And sadly, cancer likes to fight back, and he got it again, and then he fought back, and then he had some heart issues, and he fought back. And sadly, in July, things took a turn for the worse, and he spent some time in a hospital and then a little bit of time in a nursing home, and the last month at Ava's house. And I want to just say, amazing people. I mean, just amazing people. You couldn't ask for a better place to spend your final days. The nurses, the staff, even the cleaning crew, everybody there was so amazing, wouldn't you say?
It was a beautiful experience.
It was, again, I wish I met them under different circumstances, but again, the sad thing is, again, it was Dan's final month of his life, and he spent it in a great place with wonderful people who cared so much about him. And again, hats off to the whole crew at Ava's house. You guys are amazing. We are in the process of planning a celebration of life. When we have the details on that, we'll certainly let folks know. Again, it was wonderful to spend the last month or two with Dan in again, sad position, but he was in a very good place. He's a believer. He was absolutely positive he was heading to heaven, and I believe strongly that's where he is today. So, again, it was so difficult to say goodbye. And he's gone, but he is definitely not forgotten.
He's larger than life and will be really, really missed.
Absolutely. Thank you for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Tuesday.
Did you know you can allocate a percentage of your IRA to physical gold and silver with a tax-free rollover? You can put your IRA back on the gold standard. Genesis Gold IRA is the only IRA that can hold physical precious metals. Call now for your free gold and silver report and learn how to qualify for up to $10,000 in free silver. GenesisGoldIRA.com would like to help protect your IRA today with a simple phone call. Learn more and get the phone number at GenesisGoldIRA.com. That's GenesisGoldIRA.com.
Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show. Excited to visit with a very funny comedian in the Sioux Falls area, Dylan Tymes. And Dylan has a great event coming up next month. First of all, Dylan, thanks for your time today. I appreciate it, sir.
Thank you. Very excited to do this. This is awesome.
Well, and I've had a chance to see you perform, and we've worked together a couple of times. You're a funny guy. You're a young man as well. You're just like getting started. How, if you don't mind me asking, how old are you, Dylan?
Thank you for that. I'm 31 years old.
And I'm just trying to think back to when I was 31. I don't think I had it all together like you do. So you're doing really good. I think that's awesome.
Oh, that's really nice. I'm trying my best.
Well, and you've been putting on shows, and you've done quite a few comedy shows in the area. And the one that we're going to talk about today that's coming up next month, this is one that means a lot to you, and it's a good cause, and it's a good time. So let's talk about, first of all, why you're doing this show, and then we'll tell folks where it is and when it is and all of that.
First, I'm a Native American comedian. I'm from Pine Ridge, South Dakota, and the tribe I'm from is Ogallala Sioux. When I started doing comedy 3 years ago, I wanted to always try and do something that's bigger than me. And this Bear Project. They're a nonprofit in Pine Ridge, South Dakota. And I've witnessed this happen firsthand. I could start with the story. It's 2 years ago, they had a benefit for Pine Ridge in Chicago, Illinois. And the two ladies in charge, Tiny and Eileen, they chose me, of all people, to fly to Chicago and represent my tribe in our hometown. And there's other Native comedians there too, from like Indianapolis, Cincinnati, from Chicago itself. And I really got to represent, and it was pretty cool. But unfortunately, back last year in November, Eileen passed away, and that stuck with me. And I told Tiny earlier this year when I visited home that I wanted to do something cool in her honor, but I also wanted to honor every other relative we lost, because I feel like everybody's experienced grief. Me personally, my grandparents, but I know we're deeply affected, and we try to carry their spirits forward by doing cool stuff. And the story that I wanted to say was that this Bear Project, not only did they fly me out for a comedy show, and on our way back, flying back to South Dakota, they go to Goodwill and they get like a bunch of like Halloween costumes and decorations for all the kids back home. And this is the type of stuff that this program likes to do. They really are there for the youth of Pine Ridge, whether they're teenagers or kids. They like doing this stuff for the love of it. And one of them's gone, and that's such a pillar to the reservation. But I feel like it's like our time to like come together and step up. I can't be like them, but I could do stuff in my own way by using comedy, and maybe hopefully in the future using pro wrestling too.
I love that. I think that's really, really cool. Again, the event is for the Bear Project at the Pine Ridge Reservation, but the event is happening in Sioux Falls, and it's going to be at Lucky's, downtown Sioux Falls, in the basement. It's a great location for a comedy show, isn't it?
Yes, that's like one of my favorite rooms. It's the coolest venue, and if we could get a ton of people in there, it's going to be $5 to get in. I'm trying to pack it with as much comics as people can see so they could be showcased. And all the proceeds will go directly to the Bear Project. So you know where your money's going. It's going to go towards the youth of the reservation.
And again, it is coming up next month. It is on October 9th. That's a Monday night. But that you picked that day specifically because, again, there's some significance to that day, isn't there?
Indigenous Peoples Day.
So, again, Monday, October 9th, and a lot of folks have that day off work. Not everybody, but, some folks have that day off work. So if you've got the day off work, when you have that day, that long weekend, just remember, hey, I can end my long weekend by doing something really fun, watching stand-up comedy, helping benefit the Bear Project, and having a really, really, really good time. And you priced it, I think, so low. $5 is an amazingly low price. If they want to give more, though, they can, right?
Absolutely.
And again, Dylan Tymes is the gentleman we're talking to right now. You're one of many comedians that are performing that night. Do you know exactly how many? Because there's a big long list, isn't there?
Honestly, I lost count at 10, so I put and more. And I have it designed like a music festival, so it's going to be like a ton of names. But all the comics, they're only going to do 5 minutes at a time. So I want to showcase as much people as I can.
I think it's going to be a really good time. I'm excited to help with it. It's coming up on October 9th. That's a Monday night. Again, I've got a link to this at SiouxFallsComedy.com. And again, Dylan, thank you so much for putting your heart into this. I appreciate it, sir.
Thank you so much. I'm very grateful for this.
Again, Dylan Tymes has been our guest today talking about a stand-up comedy benefit. It's coming up on Monday, October the 9th. You can get all of the details at Facebook.com/SunnyRadio, Facebook.com/Sioux Falls News, and of course at SiouxFallsComedy.com.
How much do you pay for your cell phone every month? If that's more than $15, it's time for a Mintervention. Mint Mobile makes it affordable and easy to switch. Get a new phone or bring your current one. Whether you're a fan of iPhones or Samsung, they both work well with Mint Mobile. At Mintervention.com, you can see the current special offers from Mint Mobile, offering premium wireless for just $15 a month. That's far less than most people are paying. Just $15 a month. Learn more now at Mintervention.com.
This Day in Sioux Falls History is brought to you by the Sioux Falls Fun Page, West Sioux Studios, and Sunny 93.3. It was on this day, September 19th, 1921, Columbus College hosts students for the first day of classes in Sioux Falls. Catholic Bishop Thomas O'Gorman had a vision to create a massive Catholic college in Sioux Falls to rival the likes of Notre Dame in Indiana. His first order of business was to secure funding and the grounds to build a campus to fit his vision. With mock-ups for his idea in hand, he went to the Board of Regents of Columbus College in Chamberlain. He convinced them to move their entire school nearly 150 miles to Sioux Falls. Unfortunately, the bishop passed away on September 18th, 1921, just one day before the school opened. The diocese would keep O'Gorman's vision alive for many years to come, seeing the college grow to a fairly decent enrollment in the early 1920s. However, declining enrollment led to the school closure in 1929. Later on, the buildings and the grounds of Columbus College would become the beautiful new home of the Royal Johnson Veterans Hospital. This Day in Sioux Falls History has been brought to you by the Sioux Falls Fun Page, West Sioux Studios, and Sunny 93.3.
Why did the chicken cross the road? To save money on insurance at InsuranceChicken.com. Do you have the best plan for you? Find out at InsuranceChicken.com. Let's face it, we don't even want insurance. We need it. But you don't need to overpay. Head over to InsuranceChicken.com to see your rates from several different companies. All available in one place at InsuranceChicken.com. The other guys have a gecko, a duck, and an emu. Why not a chicken? InsuranceChicken.com. That's InsuranceChicken.com.
Hey, this episode of the John and Heidi Show bonus hour is done. Now, there are times during the bonus hour I'll mention something from our regular program, the John and Heidi Show, which is syndicated on like 300 stations around the country. There's actually a podcast for that as well. So if I mention something that you're going, hey, whatever happened? He didn't talk to that person, or this didn't happen, that didn't happen. You can find that podcast at JohnAndHeidiShow.com. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show bonus hour.